There is no better time than right now. It is officially fire season. Football is finally back. There is nothing better than watching football and firing on Prize Picks. If you guys have never used Prize Picks, it's so easy and fun to use. You literally go on, choose a lineup, and go more or less than whatever projection they have set up. The more players you choose and stack, the more your pick multiplies. Prize Picks is available in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Prize Picks has a sweet new offer. Play $5 and get $50 in lineups, win or lose. Sweet deal for football season. Week 1 of NFL is coming up, and Prize Picks has a max discount. Dak Prescott is already set at 0.5. Add it into your lineup. It's just going to boost your entire pick. Stay tuned to our Instagram stories because we're posting our picks all the time. Let's fucking go. Football is finally back, and Prize Picks season is here. Let's get into the podcast.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Full Send Podcast. We got a big one today. We got Terence Bud Crawford in his hometown, Omaha, Nebraska, at the B&B gym. I want to start by reading off all these accolades. There's too many to remember, so I got to read them off. #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world. First man ever to become undisputed in 2 weight divisions. 4-division world champion. 2-time fighter of the year. And ahead of the super fight with Canelo. That's some crazy-ass accolades. So what made you sought after this fight with Canelo?
Canelo's a great fighter. You know, he's respected. I'm a fan of Canelo. And like I said before, Canelo is the last of the great fighters that's available to fight. Canelo's at 168. It's a big task, but I'm always up for it. Big risk, big reward. And I want to be the first ever boxer to be a 3-weight undisputed world champion.
Talk to me about like the business of this fight, because it's live on Netflix. This is your first time fighting on Netflix?
Right.
How does this fight come together as opposed to like typical fights that you've had in the past?
Well, it's all the same. You know, at the end of the day, you got the promotion, you got the network coming out, and they shooting you, and they promoting the fight. It's just, you know, on a different network.
So like Netflix doesn't approach you with like we want you to fight on Netflix and then you find an opponent?
No. It wasn't like that. It was, you know, me going to Turki Alalshikh and letting him know that I was serious about, you know, being interested in fighting Canelo. And him and a lot of people at first, they was like, nah, he's too big. You need to, you know, focus on your weight class and things like that. But at the time, I'm like, well, there's no one at my weight class that's on that level of Canelo. You know, Canelo comes from a smaller weight class. He's not a massive fighter. You know, he's not 6 foot tall. He's, you know, he's thick, but he's not, you know, this giant. So, you know, picking Canelo was a thing that we looked deeply into at the time.
How much is he changing the sport, Turki, on the business side?
Oh, he's changing the sport, you know, in a crazy way. Because if you notice, before Turki came on the scene, none of these fights was getting made. Right. He's making all the fights that the fans want to see, all the big fights, you know, they happening with him. They not happening with nobody else. When you look at, you know, Bivol Beterbiev, that wouldn't happen. When you look at Usyk versus Fury, that wouldn't happen. There's so many fights that, you know, wouldn't happen because of financial reasons, and the pay-per-view piracy is took over the sport of boxing. So yeah, he come in and he got the check to pay the fighters to actually get in the ring. So he changed it in a dynamic way. What
business skills do you think he possesses, obviously, besides, you know, bringing the financial side of it to play?
He's fair, but at the same time, he's a fan of the sport. You know, so he want to see the sport, you know, rise. You know, he's not just in it for, you know, money and greed like some other promoters and some other people that get into boxing. You know, there's a lot of times, you know, where he's losing money, but he's losing money because he loves the sport and he want to see the sport get to the level of where it used to be back in the days where, you know, football, basketball came under the sport of boxing.
I'm good friends with Dana White too. What does it mean to have him promoting this fight?
It's new. You know, this is first time promoting a boxing event, but Dana's a great promoter, as we all have seen in the years before us. You know, I think it's a good thing. You know, you're seeing a lot of crossover between UFC and boxing and things like that. And I think if we all can collectively support one another in UFC, boxing, we can make combat sports bigger than it ever been.
You think boxing as a whole, business-wise, is headed to this kind of behind a paywall method, like a Netflix, or you saw the UFC's new deal with Paramount Plus that's behind now, like it's on a streaming service? Do you think the pay-per-view days as a whole is almost done?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think it's really about to be over with, you know, because like I said, you know, so many people is still in the fights. It's kind of like back in the days when people started burning CDs.
Yeah.
And
On like LimeWire and shit.
And the artists couldn't.
Do you ever use that LimeWire?
Nah.
Did you use none of it?
I didn't have no computer.
Oh shit. So
Those
it's like the days, just download all that shit.
So it's like, you know,
but you're right, it all went to streaming.
Yeah. It all went to streaming. So I think it's better for the fighters as well, you know, to be fighting on apps where you don't have to pay, or regular TV where you don't have to pay to see these fighters fight. Because if you remember back in the days, boxing was on regular TV, you know, so the more viewers you can have on the sport of boxing, the more, you know, boxing rises. When you look at any other sport, top sport, it's on regular TV. Yeah. That way everyone can see it.
Yeah.
When you watch football, when you watch basketball, when you watch soccer, you know, you always see these sports on regular cable or regular TV or ESPN all the time. So the more views and people that take an interest in the sport will make the sports grow.
Does it get you excited to be fighting on Netflix? Like, I feel like there's no bigger platform than that, right? This has to be your most this can be your most watched live fight.
Yeah, for sure. Netflix is a huge platform, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I was on, you know, HBO when HBO was, you know, at the top, ESPN. I'm just looking forward to seeing
massive
the next move.
What's your secret been to moving up in weight divisions all these years?
There's no secret. There's just the hard work. You know, just working, getting my body prepared to move up and things like that. A lot of people think it's a secret to it, but it's not. You know, being a boxer all my life and having to cut weight my whole life is, you know, difficult, but being able to just fight at your natural weight and, you know, eat properly and train how you want to train without having to hold back because you're like, oh, I don't want to put on too much muscle, or I gotta watch this because I gotta make weight. And not having to have those worries, you know, is all that I ever had to do.
One thing that's different about you than other champs is obviously other people grow up in their hometown and they move to Vegas or they move to LA, but one thing that's super cool about you is you've chosen to just stay in your hometown. What do you think's the main reason for that?
Why should I have to leave? You know, somebody made Vegas a hotbed for boxing. Somebody made California a hotbed for boxing. It's not where you go. It's the work you put in, you know. And a lot of people always told me, well, you got to go here, you got to go there, you got to go there. Like, no, I don't. You know, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I don't got to go anywhere. They can come to me. You know, and that's
fucking lit. That. When were people trying to get you to move out there? Like earlier on in your career?
Yeah, earlier in my career, middle of my career, and I just was.
To what? Just like train with people?
Yeah, they wanted me to train. They wanted me to live out there, the whole nine. You know, some wanted me to change coaches because they said, "Oh, well, them coaches brought you this far. They're not known for the professional level, so you need to get with a coach that's more notable, that's more, you know, seasoned, and that's been there before." All that don't matter. If you believe in your team, if you got a great team around you, you don't have to change nothing up. You don't have to go to another team because at the end of the day, like I said, somebody believed in that coach before he was this coach that took couple of fighters to the next level. You just got to believe in your team and know that you're in the right place because they're the one that's going to, have your back through it all.
I know you opened up this gym with your coach in 2013, right?
Mhm.
How long have you been training with your coach, though?
Since I started boxing.
Which is like...
It's 30 years.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Was there any ever, not that you want to switch up on your coach, but was there ever any temptation in your mind when people are saying like...
Never.
And I'm sure when you started getting famous, like it might have been tempting to live in a different place. What kept you like...
My loyalty, even when I was in the amateurs and I would go work out at the OTC, when I go work out with different coaches and things like that, me and Bomac, we'll always have conversations. We'll always talk. And he'll always just tell me, learn all you can learn. He was like, I don't know it all, but learn all you can learn. And, any exercises that you learn out there, bring it back and we can use it. And if not, then, at least you know it. So we'll always just talk amongst each other and I tell him what I learned and he'd be like, oh, that's good shit. Let's utilize that, and things like that. And so we always had that chemistry, no matter where I was at in the world. Me and him was always talking.
That's fucking cool. I saw after you beat Errol Spence Jr. the victory parade. The videos of that are fucking crazy. It was like 20,000 people. That's got to feel amazing.
Yeah, that
makes me happy even just like watching it, just knowing your story, how you like stayed here, and your whole hometown like comes out for you when you win.
That was crazy. That was a crazy feeling to see all the support that came out, and a parade dedicated just to you. It made me feel appreciated. For sure. And let me know that my city is riding behind me.
So with the Canelo fight, do you think this is going to define your legacy? Is this like a big moment, or is your legacy already what it is now?
This is definitely a big moment in my career. This is a fight where, people will be looking at me as one of the all-time greats to ever do it. This is one of the biggest, if I would say this is the biggest fight of my career.
The Errol Spence Jr. one, what was in your head when you knocked him down?
Nothing really, believe it or not, every time I ever knocked somebody down, it came by surprise because it wasn't like I was looking for the knockdown. It was just a shock, like boom, boom.
Really?
And like boom, and all right, you know what I mean?
So you never got a knockdown, you're like, I knew that was coming?
No, I got knockouts and knew it was coming, but a knockdown,
yeah,
that's the beginning of the end. It comes as a shock, but then in your mind, you're like, all right, well, I know this person can't take that.
Who's hit you the hardest, you think?
Gotta be Gamboa.
He just like hits like a truck?
No, it wasn't that. It's just that he caught me off guard coming in with my hands down, being cocky, things like that. And he just, caught me to where, my whole one side of my body got stiff. Mm-hmm. So it was just like, boom, he shocked me. I was like, dang. I look, all right, now I got to get him out of there.
What's your favorite performance of in the ring, or one you're most proud of?
I got a lot. I can't just say.
Like 3 of them or something.
The Ricky Burns was one of my proudest moments. The Ngadongo was one of my proudest moments. The Errol Spence was one of my proudest moments. So even the Victor Postal. So yeah, I got a lot of proud moments in there.
Speaking of Dana White too, do you watch any UFC at all, or do you have?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, who's some fighters you fuck with in the UFC?
John Jones, my boy, man.
You guys have a personal relationship?
Yeah, we cool. We inbox and talk here and there, but I just been a fan of him from jump. I like Khabib. Khabib.
He's got the crazy mindset, right?
Yeah, my boy Mursad. He used to be in the UFC. It's a lot of fighters. Aljo.
We were just with Aljo the other day.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
Who do you watch in the UFC that you think has the best boxing?
My guy, what's his name?
You seen Taporis? Cody Garbrandt?
Yeah, he the best. He the best UFC boxer.
Have you seen Topuria? Have you seen his fights recently?
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Cody got them hands.
Cody's not like, I'm not shitting on him, but he's not on the.
But I'm saying we talking about straight boxing.
Straight boxing?
Yeah, we ain't talking about nothing else. We talking about straight boxing skills. I just think Cody got the best boxing skills, you know, in UFC. That's just my opinion.
So you think if there was one UFC fighter that would have any chance against you in the world, it'd be him?
Nah,
But
he's too little.
He wouldn't have a chance at all.
Nah, he's too small. In the boxing ring? Nah.
Do you think there'll ever be another huge UFC crossover boxing like McGregor Mayweather?
Yeah, for sure. You know, nothing's new under the sun. You know, if it's done once, it can be done again. You know, it started with Muhammad Ali. You know, he did the crossover. Mike Tyson crossover. You know, all these fighters, Mayweather, they do crossovers at a point where their career is, you know, either over or going down. There will be another UFC megastar. There will be another boxing megastar, and so happenly, if they around the same weight, it's going to happen when the right time is right. But to say, you know, it's not you know, possible.
How do you see this fight with Canelo going or ending?
I'm definitely going to win the fight for sure. But, you know, I think it's going to be a tough fight. You know, I think he's going to bring the best out of me. I'm going to bring the best out of him. And it's going to be an exciting fight.
Do you guys have any bad blood at all, or is it all business?
It's just business. You know, I want what he got. You know, and that's them belts and that's that undisputed title. And that's it. You know, it ain't personal. It's just, you know, he got something that I want.
After this, I mean, this is so big. Does it get bigger than this?
Not at all. This is the biggest fight in boxing. The biggest fight in boxing. No other fight in boxing today is on the level of Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez.
What do you see for yourself after this fight? How long do you want to be in the sport? How long do you want to be actively fighting?
I don't know. You know,
it's not something you think about. You're just going fight by fight.
I always take one fight at a time. You know, one fight at a time. I feel great. I'm healthy. And like I said, I'm looking forward to having some fun come September 13th.
And this fight's, I think it's the first fight at Allegiant Stadium, right? 40,000 people?
I think we're going to do a little more than that.
A little more?
Yeah.
You're going to squeeze them in?
They're going to do 70.
70?
Could be possible.
Holy shit. What was like the biggest arena you fought in? How many people?
It had to be Lincoln, Nebraska. I think that was like 17,000.
Now it's going to 70? That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good. Does that like excite you fighting in a stadium with that many people?
You don't notice it because you're in the ring. So, you know, but it's kind of crazy because when I went to WrestleMania, I got to go to Allegiant Stadium and view and witness the crowd and things like that, and just to look up.
That shit's big.
Yeah, look up and look around and just, you know, think to yourself, like, this is gonna be me fighting all these people surrounding me and whatnot. And I was just like, man, it kind of sent chills through your body at that time.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Does this whole fight, like the lead up to it, feel different? Does the camp feel different, or does it all just feel the same?
To me, it all feel the same, even though it's not the same. We put the work in every camp, no matter what. You know, it's grind time. We know this fight is different. This is, you know, a legacy fight. But at the same time, the work is work.
Also guys, really quick, we have a ton of new Full Send golf stuff on fullsend.com. I'm rocking this sexy one right here, the Happy Dad Polo. The quality is honestly fucking amazing. Hugs the arms, kind of makes you look jacked a little bit, but not too tight around the barrel. That's how we designed them. There's a ton of new golf polos. We have golf bags, hats, a ton of different accessories. We also have a ton of Full Send UFC stuff. Really, really fire shit, clean shit, collab with the UFC. Go to fullsend.com if you're into golf. I'm telling you, I wear these polos on the course all the time. Fuck, our dog just got his balls chopped off. But go to fullsend.com. I'm sorry, bro. I honestly don't agree with that. But go to fullsend.com, cop some shit. I'm sorry, Rio. I love you.
You're a family man. You're so focused. You're dialed on your craft. Do you have any vices? Like anything that tempts you, or like, what do you like to do when you're not training? I'm
real chill when I'm not training. You know, I'm more family oriented. I chill at my mom's house. I go play basketball at the YMCA with my nephew and a couple of friends. I go fishing. I'm real chill, you know?
Yeah.
I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't party, really.
You've never drank or smoked, right?
I don't do none of that.
That's crazy.
So I'm just real chill, laid back.
What do you think never made you like drink or smoke ever?
Your body is a temple, and looking at my family members that had addiction to drinking and smoking, looking at people that was smoking, and I always told myself, what makes people want to be impaired and not know what's going on, or falling all over the place, busting their teeth out, busting their eyes open because they drunk and they falling down the stairs and things like that. I never understood like why people want to be messed up to where they don't know what's going on around them.
So you've never been hungover too.
No, never.
That's what you don't ever want to experience.
Never,
Fuck
so,
being drunk, but
yeah.
hungover. It's good that you haven't experienced that.
Yeah,
it's pointless.
And then like the smell of liquor stinks. Like what good is it? It don't taste good. Like what?
It can. Well, it depends. Yeah, if you're a drinker, but yeah, that's good. You're dialed.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins in a fight? You or Prime Floyd?
Me.
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
I don't know. I thought you'd hesitate maybe even a bit, but no.
Nah, not at all. That's one of my favorite fighters. But yeah, nah.
Who's one person or a few people you wish you could have fought in their prime?
It's a lot. If I can go back in the history, it'd be Roberto Duran, it'd be Julio Cesar Chavez, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, those type of fighters.
How about Mike Tyson if he was your size?
If Mike Tyson was my size,
stylistically,
I would beat him easy. And Mike Tyson, is well respected, but my size, Mike Tyson, I think Mike Tyson beat those guys because, he was faster and more explosive than those guys, those heavyweight guys. When you look at Mike Tyson back in the days, he was ferocious. This is speed and power and explosiveness combined was like they couldn't keep up with it.
Wanted to get your take on the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. They just announced the fight. What's your instant reaction to that?
I don't have no reaction. I don't know what's going to happen with a 135-pounder going up against a 200-pounder. If it's scripted, then it's going to be good for the fans to watch.
What do you mean by scripted? Like rigged?
Yeah, like scripted. Like
but none of those guys want a fucking L, right?
I think it's not a real fight. I think it's because it can't be a real fight because they ain't in the same weight. So it'd be more like an exhibition.
I think it is an exhibition, but do you think they're like, but not one person saying like, yo, I'm going to fucking throw the match. You think?
I don't think.
Or you never know.
Yeah, I think they're going to go in there and spar. I don't think it's going to be you trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. I think it's let's go in here and make this money. It's more of a business tactic than anything.
Because that's what Jake and Mike kind of did.
Yeah, for sure.
Like everyone bought into that. And then when you watched it, it was just like, bro, this sucks. I'm friends with Jake. I like him too. But that fight, I didn't like that one.
Jake too big for Tank. In reality, he's way too big for Tank. Like Tank is very talented, punch hard, explosive. A whole 9 yards, but
yeah, because some people say Jake's fight's rigged. He's like suing people now that say they're rigged. You see that? But how could they rig it before? Because like, what if they just say, "Oh, we're gonna go soft on each other," and then Tank just fucking throws it right at Jake?
Jake can punch with that right hand. Like I seen him, up close in person. Like dude is big. He's not as slow as people think he is, and he can punch. That's why a lot of people know like. There was times where, him and Tyson, was in the ring and he could have like laid it on Tyson, but he kind of like held back.
You could tell.
And that's the same with Tyson. Like Tyson could have caught Jake with something and he just like, so you can see it.
If you had to choose someone to win that fight, who do you think wins?
Honestly, I think Jake by youth.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, Jake's a huge underdog too.
Him and Tank?
Yeah.
There ain't no winner. It's an exhibition.
Do you ever sports bet on fights and watch them?
I don't bet at all.
Yeah, because Jake's a huge underdog.
Jake just too big. He too big. If they really go at it, he's just too big. Tank ain't gonna be able to get in from that jab. Jake land one good punch on Tank, it's over with.
Do you think he can hit him though? With how fast? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch the when Logan fought Mayweather? It's kind of like that, right? A little bit.
Logan did good,
but I think Jake's a lot more experienced than Logan was at that time,
Logan
right?
got tired.
Yeah, but Floyd kind of pieced Logan up in that fight, right?
Logan landed his shots too, though.
Yeah.
You know, because Logan is longer and taller. You know, so Floyd had to take some risks. You know, at the same time, but you know, Floyd experience came into play. You know, he started hitting him a little harder, started touching him to the body, you know, started making him work when he don't want to work. And, you know, you start seeing Logan start fading. He can go right here, and then he started going like this. And then that's when Floyd started taking over.
What do you want your legacy to be like when your career is all said and done? What do you want people to remember you for?
Oh, man. Everybody's asking me the question. I always be like, man, it's whatever it's their opinion. Everybody gonna have a different opinion of Terence Crawford, you know, but one thing they can't say is that I ducked anyone. You know, I fought everyone that was available to fight. And, you know, I'm a family man. I love my kids. I love, you know, being an active father. That's my passion.
What's the best part about being a dad and the hardest part?
Everything.
The best part
is the best. You know, because when you're not around them and things that you don't like, you start missing it. You know, like when you sitting in camp and you just sitting back thinking, you're like, man, where them bad kids at making the noise, or where them kids at running around jumping on me, things like that. You know, you miss those little things, and then as they get older, you know, it started to fade away, and you start looking back like, man, I remember you used to do this. I remember you used to do that. You know, I remember you used to run up to me and give me a kiss. Now you act like you're too old to kiss your dad and stuff like that. So you get to missing those little precious moments as they get older, but you appreciate it when, you know, they come back and when they, you know, doing it at the times that you know that it's going to be over with.
Yeah. Do they watch your fights?
All the time.
Live?
All the time.
Yeah. Are they going to be at the fight too? All 7 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are any of them training?
They train, but I don't let them box.
No?
Nah.
Why not?
I just don't want them to go through it.
Really?
You know, I'm doing it so they don't have to do it. Then I couldn't, you know, see myself watching my kids get hurt, and I couldn't do nothing about it. You know, and then on top of that, I'm making a sacrifice to put my body, my life on the line for y'all, so y'all don't have to do that. Y'all can go to college, be whatever y'all want to be, without getting your head battered and bruised up.
Was it really tough, like throughout your career, like training, like being a boxer and stuff like that?
Man, boxing is hard. Boxing is...
Yeah, you don't really think about it. People don't see the lows of it, probably, right? They only see the knockouts and
they don't see all the work that you put into the sport. You know, they don't see the politics that plays a big factor in the sport. You know, all the boxers that got railroaded or got cheated or didn't get they fair shake because the promoter had more money invested into this fighter. You know, it's a lot of shady business that
people
goes
always
on
talk about that,
boxing.
but like I don't really understand it. What's like the biggest issue with the business of boxing?
Just your fair shake. You know, the opportunities. You know, you can be the #1 contender, you know, and you can see these fighters keep jumping you, and you like, when I'm getting my shot at the title, you know, I've been worked this far, but now I'm right here at the finish line. Y'all hold me back, telling me, oh, no, you can't cross the finish line yet. You can't get the opportunity to win yet. You know, he got to go before you. He got to go before you. And you're like, man, politics, or I'm not going to fight you because you on that side of the street. Or no, I'm not going to fight him because he's not worthy enough, or he don't have enough followers, or his name not as big as him. He's a great fighter, but his name not as big as him. Nobody knows him. So it's a lot of things that goes into boxing.
Did that happen to you a lot on your way up?
Oh yeah, of course.
Like promoters screwing you and shit? Or just not believing in you?
I would say the opportunities. You know, when I was coming up, when I first started pro, You know, a lot of people didn't want to fight me because I didn't have the money behind me, and they knew that I had the talent and the skills because I was a top amateur. And it was like, well, if we don't have to fight him, we're not going to fight him for no couple of $1,000, you know, or a couple of $100. We want some money to fight this kid because we putting our fighter in jeopardy and harm's way of losing, and it's a business at the end of the day. I'm not about to sell my fighter to this fighter that I don't have no ties to, you know, and make him look good and go to the next level, you know, and then my fighter gotta go backwards because he took a loss. Earlier in my career, I wasn't getting those fights, and then once I signed with Top Rank, I started fighting more often and things like that. And then same thing happened when I moved up in weight. Like I couldn't get those fighters that was at the top at the time that I was trying to get them. I was trying to get them all, you know, and it was like, oh no, you over there, we over here. And I'm like,
Was it a money issue or were people just dodging you?
it was just people dodging me.
Yeah.
You know, promoters been greedy, you know, not wanting to work with each other for whatever reason because they felt as if they have 5, 6 fighters over here and you have 2 fighters over there. We don't got to go over there and fight you. We have a little round robin with these fighters over here, and I can keep all the money. But if I go over there or you come over here and you take one of my champions out, and you go back over there and take the belt, now what I have? You know, you just came over here and took one of my belts, and now I'm left with 1 belt or 2 belts, whatever.
What do you think's the solution to that as a whole?
Like I said, Turkey. You know what I mean? He making all these promoters work together, and I think that would have been the best solution in the beginning. Is they all work together and, you know, split the money how it's supposed to be split it and make boxing great. You know, but when you have greed in play and nobody want to share with other promoters, everybody like, I got these fighters, I don't gotta share. I got these fighters, I don't gotta have nobody else come over here. You know, a lot of promoters was doing that. You know, if Top Rank have the 130 pound fighters locked in, you know, they don't gotta go across the street or go nowhere else looking for, you know, I mean, top fighters because they have all the top fighters there. PBC at one point in time had the top 147 pounders. They didn't have to go nowhere, you know, because they had the top fighters in that weight division. So whatever promoter had the top fighters in that weight class had the power in that weight class.
What was your first like memorable big bag paycheck that you got for a fight? That you were like, when you got it, you're like, okay, this is like crazy.
I don't know, man. I'm
like, was there ever a moment when you won a fight and you got the bag, and or like your first kind of check? You can't remember?
I think my first check that I was like excited about was Bradis Prescott.
You know? Are you able to say what that was or no?
It was only like 125,000.
And how old were you at that time?
24.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, like 24. But it was just like, all right, you know what I mean? Like that was something that I was just like real excited about.
You weren't, or you were?
I was.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of money.
But then like going up, you know, it was just like, they're gonna take all these taxes out. It's all good. You know, you think you making all this money, and once the taxes and you start paying everybody, you be like, damn.
You remember the first time you found out what you had to pay in taxes?
I always pay taxes.
Yeah. Well, the first time like I started to make decent money, and then I had to like, we were living in California too, so I had to pretty much give up like fucking 50%.
Yeah.
That's when you really realize, like, bro, yeah, you gotta. This is not your money yet.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You be like, in your mind, you be like, man, I'm making $1 million.
But pretty much say goodbye to like,
yeah, like half of it.
Yeah.
And then you be like, damn. All right. Yeah, I got to make more money because that ain't no money.
And then the first time I like spent it before I had it. So I was like, oh shit, I don't even have the money to fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what fucks you at the beginning.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy.
When you say you wouldn't want your kids to be boxers, like what challenges that you face that would like not make you want them to be in the sport?
I don't have any challenges, but the discipline and the hard work that you got to put in the boxing. It's yearly around, like you got to grind. Basically, you can't have a childhood or a life until after boxing. Your whole world is surrounded around boxing. You know, your stress level, like just everything.
So do you enjoy it? Like as a whole, have you enjoyed being a boxer, or would you say it's kind of a sacrifice?
I enjoy it because I know what I'm doing it for. I know my purpose. I know my why. You know, some people just do it for the money, and then you see how far they go. You know, but I know my calling was this. You know, and I enjoy every bit of it. But not to say that my kids is going to enjoy it, because they not me. You know, they have parts of me, but they not going to make the sacrifices that I made, because they don't have to. They live a healthy life. You know, they don't have the traumas and the things that to fight for like I did. They got everything.
Right.
So, you know, with that being said, they don't have to grind like I used to.
What's been your key to like staying so disciplined? And what's some keys for people to just practice like that art of discipline?
Well, I look at all the fighters before me. I look up to Floyd in a real big way when it comes to discipline. You know, you'll see Floyd, he'll go out to the clubs and he'll hang out, and everybody be like, oh man, Floyd in the club. But then he'll run from the club, you know, 8 miles home. You know, he'll work out at 2, 3, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, he was always working. He was always doing something, like, you know, perfecting his craft, no matter what, you know, not smoking, not drinking, not nothing, you know. And I look at all the other fighters that was partying, drinking, and not taking their craft serious when they was in boxing, and they all went, they caught up to them.
Mm-hmm.
They always catch up to them, you know. And I just always said, I'm not going to be those guys. I'm not going to be that guy that spend all his money and be at the top of his game, and, you know, you see him 10, 20 years later, he don't have a pot to piss in. He's, you know, on the streets, and you don't even notice him because, you know, he's unrecognizable. And you're like, damn, man, I remember this guy was a great world champion. He was one of the best fighters in the world, but he don't have nothing to show for him. So I always looked at the guys that came before me to know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, learning what not to do,
Yeah.
right? Was there ever a moment in your career when you started becoming famous or something where you started to like stray away from the discipline and you like...
No, never.
You've just been
dialed in. Because I already know, you know, there's gonna be times where...
That's a gift to like naturally possess though, right?
There's gonna be times where distractions is always gonna, you know, jump at you. You know, but it's up to you to decide if you wanna let it distract you or keep, you know, your eyes on the narrow.
What would you say to people that are trying to achieve a goal, whether it be sports or just anything they're trying to achieve, to
stay locked in, you know, stay locked in, stay focused, you know, on season, off season, stay focused, because it's easy to, you know, slip. It's easy, you know. It feels good when temptation is up in front of you and you're like, oh, I can do this, I'll be all right. And then you find yourself like, oh, this ain't gonna hurt, just a little thing ain't gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Then you find yourself like, damn, it's a month past, you know, and I'm 200 pounds, or I'm fucking out of shape, or I've been drinking for a month straight, you know, or I've been partying. Somebody got to wake you up.
You got to have some sort of vice. Do you like fast food or something? Do you like no cheat meals? Not during camp, but...
Candy. I like candy.
During camp?
Yeah, I eat candy.
What's your go-to candy?
I like gummies.
What kind?
Like gummy worms, gummy bears.
The sour gummy worms?
Yeah, here and there.
Those are fire.
Yeah.
So what, you can have those during camp?
Yeah.
How
I
about
have a pop here and there.
how about fast food?
No, I like going to restaurants. I'd rather go to restaurants instead of fast food.
What's like a cheat meal at a restaurant you'd get?
I don't eat beef or pork, so
Okay.
it really ain't no cheat meal.
No, like mac and cheese or greasy.
That's cool.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Because you're burning so many
Yeah.
calories, right?
yeah. So I don't look at that as a cheat meal, mac and cheese and stuff like that. Even though, I don't
Just
eat
gummy
it
worms. That's
too often.
the only thing you can't give
and
up.
pop.
Gummy worms and pop. Besides that, you're the dial king.
Yeah, I'm the dial king. Like,
Hell yeah.
nobody perfect. We all have our little
Gummy worms is fine.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, gummy worms is cool.
Candy, but I didn't cut back so much on candy and junk food and things like that. And
Were you getting out of control with the candy?
I just always been out of control. Since I was a little kid, I just always ate, candy, little Debbie's, cakes, sweets, and
Desserts?
yeah, all that.
What's your favorite dessert?
Apple pie.
With vanilla ice cream?
No,
No?
I don't.
You don't do vanilla ice cream with apple pie?
That's too much.
That's fire.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we don't want to take up too much of your time. Cheesecake's fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you got a big camp, but we'll be watching September 13th live on Netflix.
Appreciate it.
Crawford versus Canelo. It's going to be big. We're fired up.
That's
Thank
right.
you, brother. Appreciate you having us here, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you, bro.